Now that we've established some of the core concepts of programming and talked about some of the basics, especially in object-oriented programming, let's talk about some of the more the advanced topics in these areas. And let's start off with object-oriented programming and some of the advanced topics that comes with that. Before we get started into these advanced topics, let's review really quickly. Object-oriented programming is broken up into 4 major concepts. We talked about encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism, where encapsulation is organizing your code into kind of relevant parts used for reuse. Abstraction is templating out your code into kind of like specific basic sets of requirements. Inheritance is reusing that code and making very little changes to that. And polymorphism is the idea of using your classes to describe multiple different things, right? And all using kind of the same similar codes that are in there. Remember that objects are instances or imprints of classes. So when you create a class instance or an object, that's literally you have attributes and methods and areas all based off of the DNA of that class. Remember that Python in Python everything is an object, and there's specific types associated with them. We talked about the object lifecycle, how there's a definition, an initialization, access and manipulation, and then destruction, and with that. And then finally, inheritance is like genetics, where we've got like that DNA of parent classes that kind of comes down and flows their attributes and methods to their children. So with that said, with that base knowledge that you've already got, we are going to talk about in this module about the unified modeling language and how we can describe and design our object-oriented classes and concepts using that. We're going to talk about static and class and instance methods and attributes for those. We're going to talk about how to create managed attributes of a class and using introspection with that, meaning looking into a class to see if to kind of for that managed attributes in there. And then finally, we're going to round this off with some Python special and custom dunders and what dunders are and how to use them. So let's get started with this module.